Get those fires out!
Did you think to take any extinguishers when you stole the ship?
Blast! Outlander! You're up. See what you can do with this thing. That's 2 more shuttles you owe me.
You didn't even own this one. It really shouldn't count.
It was mine when it crashed. It counts.
Do we know anything about this swamp?
Not much to it. Barely populated, some old ruins scattered around. The usual grumpy wildlife you'd expect. People call it the Endless Swamp.
Endless?
It's an old name. People were more dramatic back then.
Anything on your sensors?
Confirmation. I have detected a large metallic object nearby. Analysis suggests a technological construct, but there are no energy readings.
Whatever it is, it's got better chances of flying than this thing. Engines fried to a crisp.
Skytroopers won't be far behind us. We need to hide the evidence of our landing.
I'll scavenge you, Barry.
Just like Aaron Prime.
I get the sense you two have been working together for a while.
Long enough.
I know you have more questions than answers, but we should really keep moving. I promise I'll tell you everything I can as soon as we're safe.
Enthusiasm. Shall we investigate the technological object? I believe I can guide us to its location.
Very well.
Greetings, my friends. Welcome to Chapter 4, The Gravestone. Unfortunately, I did just a tiny little bit without recording, so we will have to skip that. VULKK was searching for something special, and he almost found it. The Gravestone is the main task or the main objective for the whole Chapter 4. And I will keep the secret for those of you who probably don't know yet what the Gravestone is. You will be surprised. The part I forgot to record was a couple of items VULKK was supposed to discover here in this region, metal pieces, in according to the conversation we had in the very beginning of the chapter with my lovely new companion droid. We discovered a few of them, and finally we found the one we were looking for. It turns out to be a part of something much bigger, and now we're going to check out the bigger thing. That in front of us is the instance place, and the task for the current task for the quest is speak to HK55, but it won't activate until I enter. As soon as I enter, the huge, gigantic, active purple quest appears.
Admiration. It is a great pleasure to witness your skills firsthand, Master.
Master?
Clarification. Master Beniko altered my programming before we secured your release. I am to serve you with the same unexcelled loyalty with which I serve her. In fact, your survival is now my highest priority.
I'm no more important than Lana or Koth. Don't prioritize me above them.
Concession. I will alter my prioritization as you request, Master. Gossip. You are just as selfless as I had been led to believe. Resumption. Shall we continue?
At first sight, this might seem like a bit of a pointless conversation, but it does play its role a little bit later on, and I will tell you exactly where and when. If you have seen already my playthrough with the Sith Marauder, you will probably know what I did there and what the reaction was. I need to quickly make sure if I have that activated, because I'm not entirely sure. That's what I was looking for. Show conversation alignment gain. I just don't want to miss any one of the important choices marked as light or dark, even though I'm supposed to remember which one is the moment when I'm presented with a dark or light choice, just in any case. It's always nice to have the icons available.
Hostile eliminated. +1 to kill counter.
If you were a stealth class here, I expect it would be a lot quicker and easier because you can just run past those. And I don't know why, but I'm following the path absolutely straight. This group, I've decided to just skip. Unfortunately, I can only afford to do that every 45 seconds.
Is this the object you picked up on your sensors?
Confirmation. Yes, Master. A closer scan suggests that this object has been here for several centuries.
Centuries? Of all the junk out here, you had to find the antique.
Observation. Visible design elements do not match any from Zakuulan culture, antique or modern.
Not from Zakuul. Could it be?
He doesn't overthink things.
Haha! Do you have any idea what this is?
It looks like some kind of old spacecraft.
This is the Gravestone. This was the only ship that ever went up against the Eternal Fleet and won. Do you have any idea how long people have been looking for this thing?
And we just happened to stumble upon it.
You said this ship went up against the Eternal Fleet and won. But it's rusting in a swamp while the fleet is still around.
The fleet is even older than Valkyrian, maybe even older than Zakuul. The battles happened centuries ago. Nobody knows the details of the whole war, but every story talks about the Gravestone. One ship with the firepower to take on the Eternal Fleet. This is fate. We get your Outlander. Find exactly the weapon we need. We're going to win this thing, Lana. It's destiny.
It's certainly no coincidence, but destiny? I think there's something else going on here.
The will of the Force guides us all, if we learn to listen.
Rely on your Jedi ideals if you wish, but there's more to this, I'm sure of it.
Let's have a look inside, huh?
Assessment. Nearby signs of animal activity suggest local predators may be using this wreck as a nesting ground. Caution is advised.
We'll split up, deal with any wildlife, then regroup to plan our next move.
And that's what the Gravestone is.
Covered.
An ancient, centuries-old spaceship. The only one, as we've just heard, to ever defeat or actually survive the Zakuul fleet.
Wouldn't mind a challenge now and then.
We have just entered in attempt to clear it. Because apparently it's filled with all kinds of birds and spiders. Let me show you the map. We will be adventuring through the ship in quite a bit for the near future. And I want to spoil something, well, kind of hint for it, not spoil really. This ship is really, really powerful.
17, 22.
Target down.
These creatures are hardly cunning. Their usual prey clearly doesn't offer much challenge.
Yeah. Clearing these
That's
things
very
out,
true.
very easy. Easiest thing ever. Took one out.
This is why I recommend playing combat or carnage to everybody. For such easy to kill trash pools when there are more than 2 or 3 or 5 enemies, you can very easily AoE them down. And when there is a big one, right here, challenging, attempting to challenge you, you can just burst it in no time. Especially after level 64, when Master Strike, it's not called Master Strike anymore, forgive me. That's what I mean, the Blade Dance ability. It's gonna become even more powerful because there's gonna be a dot attached to it. And the only possible reason for that dot, at least in my own personal opinion, is to make it a little bit more fluent and more stable DPS wise, because otherwise it is the most spiky DPS spec.
The endless swamp. After the damage you inflicted, they couldn't have made a safe landing anywhere else.
And if they didn't make a safe landing?
We'll know soon enough. Sky Troopers, sweep the area. Focus on regions with high metallic sensor readings.
I oversaw security in the Carbonite prison. I humbly submit myself to answer for this failure.
Sister.
I didn't like his answer.
So this ship has been here for, what, 1,000 years? More?
Right. It's amazing that it's in such good condition, considering. Judging by the damage I've seen, the stories are true. Whoever built the Gravestone scuttled it themselves after the Eternal Fleet was defeated. It wasn't shot down.
The fleet was defeated but not destroyed. VULKK brought it back under his own control more than a century ago.
Exactly. The Eternal Fleet is totally automated. Nobody knows who first built it, and every theory is crazier than the last.
Renegades left behind after a successful droid revolution. Representatives of an entire race of droids from somewhere beyond the edge of the known galaxy.
Like I said, crazy stuff. But no matter where it came from, the Eternal Fleet is practically unstoppable. And Arkan controls every single ship from the throne.
If VULKK has had this unstoppable fleet for more than a century, why didn't he use it to help the Sith Empire defeat the Republic?
We can only theorize. If the war was just part of a ritual to make the Emperor truly immortal, perhaps using the fleet would have interfered somehow. Regardless, we have many other things to discuss. I owe you 5 years' worth of explanations.
And I'm gonna need some parts to get this thing moving again.
Locating supplies and fresh water would also be wise.
Let's get those parts first. Might take a while to install them.
Yeah, ship this old? There's no telling.
Assertion. I will begin a patrol pattern to ensure that no enemy forces report our position.
The Eternal Fleet. You guys want to learn more about it? The Eternal Fleet is an ancient and unstoppable armada operated by sentient droids and controlled by the Eternal Throne. Centuries ago, the fleet nearly wiped out all of the wild space. It took a colossal alien warship, the Gravestone. We are inside the Gravestone at the moment, I remind you, to deactivate the Eternal Fleet, and even it was subsequently lost in the final battle. VULKK had heard rumors of the fleet before his arrival on Jakku. It was the main reason he chose the planet to house his new empire. Once he gained control over Jakku, he began his search for the fleet in earnest. using the Scion's Force visions to eventually find the dormant ships. He built the Eternal Throne to reactivate and command the Lost Fleet. While primarily used in military operations, the fleet is also key in collecting tributes and resources from conquered planets and protecting trade routes in wild space. This is brief history of the Eternal Fleet, how it appeared. It is really ancient. We can only speculate that it's 1,000 years old, but we don't know that. Nobody actually does. Anyway, the next task before me and my current companion Cod is to collect 4 scattered starship parts. For that we will have to get out into the swamps. This is a small kind of a side quest, from what I remember, and it presents just a little bit of a distraction. It is located in the area in front of me, and since I will have to scout and roam around this area twice, I might as well do the quest. It's literally on the way of my character. The areas are really small, but also very, very well designed. That's part number 1. You can already see the reward. It's gonna be a speeder. Absolutely, if you ask me at least. Generically looking speeder, nothing fancy. But if you can pick it up and have it, why not? I like collecting mounts that are available from in-game, not from the cartel store. That was the second part, only one more left. As I've mentioned already, it is literally on the way, so there is absolutely no reason to skip the quest, plus it's extra experience. A moment to stop and stare around. Really, really beautiful exterior, forgive me. We're after all outside. It may not look like outside because it's a dirty swamp, kind of a weird forest. And we found the main frame of the speeder. We just have to attach the 3 item parts that we've located previously. There it is, 1 new speeder for me.
Got you covered.
Just a quick demonstration what it looks like. Where did it land? Right here. Not bad, not bad. I like it. Very small tunnel. Very easy to miss. I'm not sure, I believe I almost missed it the first time I was doing the playthrough. But if you ever get lost, just open them up and follow these brownish lines, because they are the most straight line ever, and they exist in any planet for any quest. They are not drawn just for your quest, but they are the main routes around the planet. I don't know why BioWare decided to make them as if they are actually through roads. And here is where we will be doing the main part of the main quest. Collect scattered starship parts. This is one, and unfortunately someone else picked it up before me. And right there I see another one. It's not guarded, should be no problem to pick it up quickly. That's number 1. Oh, it is.
Stay on your feet.
After all, it seems that it was guarded, or maybe I've just attracted these animals' attention while running towards them. Interesting to note, this thing spawned way too soon, which makes me go check the population. far from what was yesterday and the day before. Wow. I like the respawn rate. BioWare is really taking care for the players this time. And just in case you're doing your own quests at some later point, you will have a chance to look for these things all over the map. You saw that the circle was selected right here, but I found the item way too far away from the circle. Well, pretty much I believe the whole area should be able to provide the special items, and they are kind of a shine light bright blue-ish on a dark black and green background, very easy to spot. I wish there was some extra sound provided while we're in the water, because there is absolutely nothing.
Stay on your feet. Took one out.
Very small map, absolutely tunnel-like.
I can do this all day. A challenge now and then.
Just for a little bit of an extra fun, let's see if I can draw all of these mobs all together and AoE them down. Because otherwise, it's not that I'm overgeared, I am actually very decently geared. But the challenge here is really minimal. Defeat the... I don't know how to even read that thing. Ignite Burrower. In other words, kill the big spider. You can not ever achieve such speed killing this kind of a bigger, better boss kind of a monster.
I ditch all these parts before we crash. We find the gravestone, and then what do we need to get it flying? Honestly, it's plain as day. Not for Lana, though. For her, it's all just skill and luck and coincidence.
Relying on fate to get you out of trouble will always leave you disappointed. Better to rely on yourself.
I can't believe you two. Just wait and see. I know I'm right on this. Lana's told me about all the things you've done. More than once. Half the reason I agreed to this crazy rescue was to see if you were actually real. So, I figure I know all about your past. You deserve to know mine. I grew up on Zakuul. Served in the military. I captained a warship during Arkan's campaign against the Core Worlds. One of the last ships without an all-droid crew. My crew and I deserted. But I'm not going to pretend we didn't do our share of damage beforehand. Just thought you should hear it from me.
Something must have happened to make you desert your post. What was it?
We were holding territory on Denon. Locals rioted and orders were to open fire until they stopped. None of us even wanted to be there. Massacring civilians? That's not how Zakuul is supposed to operate.
Thank you for being honest with me. You and your crew made the right choice.
Glad you think so. One more thing, as long as we're being honest. When you risked your life to shut that generator down, you showed me that you're someone I can count on. I want to take Arkan down, but we don't have to take down all of Zakuul with him. I'm glad to know you understand that too.
Too many innocent people have suffered already. I'm not going to add to that.
Thank you. Come on, let's get this stuff back to the gravestone.
Salutation. It is a pleasure to see you again so soon, Masters. I have encountered minimal resistance in my patrol.
Minimal?
Reassurance. Only one Sky Trooper and 3 local predators with poor survival instincts. Our position appears to be secure at this time, but I would still advise caution on your return trip, Masters.
Keep up the good work, HK.
Appreciation. It will be my pleasure to do so, Master.
We've learned a little bit of a background about one of my new companions. He's going to stay cop, so I might as well learn a little bit about him. Why not? Oh wait, I forgot that we have an automatic teleport. Not that it makes any difference.
Got you covered.
Except that maybe it teleported me exactly where I wanted to be. I love the animations of these. And I want to express my apology about being interrupted by the cutscene previously. You know that I'm recording this for 2 reasons. First, because of the walkthrough, and second, because of the cutscenes. So far, there have been some very interesting differences in Chapter 4 compared to doing the dark side and the nasty guy, and the light side good Jedi Master. And it's time to go and help Lana.
Welcome back. Did you find what you were looking for?
More or less. I'll see what I can do.
Shall we, then? We won't last long without more food and water.
Let's go.
I've got you.
And now it is time to support and help Lana while learning a little bit of the past 5 years, because she promised to tell me what exactly happened while I was sleeping, being frozen. The quest is in the same area as previously, and this is a very nice way to transport yourself there quicker. I might as well do that and enjoy the scenery. Quick, simple, easy. We've already done the side quest in the previous area. There is no need to hang back there again and do it manually. On the way to the first reading. Before that, obviously, we have to enter the instanced area, and thank God, because otherwise there is potentially a problem if there were too many people farming for the same spots. But it is, after all, just a side quest, and who cares about it? If you want some little extra XP, just do it for 5 minutes.
Never stood a chance.
I still haven't been able to confirm it, but I have a strong feeling that by default, every DPS character gets by default a healing companion. You can obviously change their role at any point and any time, except when you're in combat. Obviously, that's not allowed.
When Darth Mar and I faced Valkorion, we knew right away. He was the Sith Emperor, Lana.
I know. When he was struck down, it released ripples through the Force. Everyone who had felt the Sith Emperor's presence in the past, on Ziost, on Yavin 4, we all sensed what had happened. Arkan invaded soon after, claiming that an outlander had assassinated his father, the immortal Emperor. It didn't take long for us to unravel the truth.
Which side did Arkan attack first?
both. Ships from the Eternal Fleet struck at shipyards and rallying points for both sides simultaneously. They favored ambush tactics throughout the war. Zakulan's sensor technology has far greater range than our own, and their ships can fly much further on less resources. Only vessels retrofitted with Isotope 5 could manage to outrun them. None could truly compete.
Let's say thank you to Lana for this brief spark of history and move on to the second node.
That's the end of that one.
Well, it wasn't one shot, but very close to it.
Challenge accepted and met. Gotta have a good fight.
How long did the Republic and the Empire manage to hold out?
Within 3 months, the bulk of our naval forces were disabled or eliminated, and the Republic was in the same situation. With naval superiority, Arkan's forces could begin choking off supply lines, trade, any ship travel at all. The Eternal Fleet seemed to be everywhere at once. Coruscant and Dromund Kaas were blockaded by the end of the first year.
Or in other words, terrifyingly quick. The Zaku fleet overtake both the Republic and the Empire.
Should feel better now.
I always feel good next to you, Lana. VULKK is definitely not the character to flirt with any of the NPCs through the playthrough.
How did it end?
The members of the Dark Council fought Arkan's invasion ruthlessly and lost. The Empire's treaty was ultimately negotiated by the Minister of Logistics. Chancellor Suresh also refused to discuss surrender, but the Republic Senate managed to overrule her. A cadre of senators negotiated their own ceasefire terms. All of those senators have since been disgraced or dismissed. I'm sure you can imagine the likely culprit.
What about the Jedi Order?
I know that they suffered heavy losses, but that's the extent of my information. I've sent agents to find out more, but none have returned. I wish I had more to tell you. So far, the treaties with Zakul have held, but that will not last forever.
That is it. It is time to search for alternative site for groundwater. Where would that be? Let's check out the map. Right in this small area.
This will help. Never stood a chance. Somewhat worthy opponent.
That's 6 out of 10. Quick and efficient. Thank God the area is small enough so the mobs don't actually lose aggro on me when I'm trying to drag them together. And the last 2 are in front of us. Oh, we have 3 actually.
Challenge accepted and met.
Bonus quest is finished. For a non-stealther character, it's gonna be actually a real challenge not to complete that small side quest. Oh, hey, big guy.
That's the end of that one.
It's literally impossible to have a swamp and adventure through the swamps without encountering any kind of a rancor. In our case, it was a swamp rancor. Very different looking than the normal rancor, mind you. Interesting to note, I hadn't tried, or maybe I have and I've forgotten, but I'm allowed to use a mount here. Thank God, it saves some traveling. Speak to Lana. Come here, Lana.
A freshwater spring. It should be safe for drinking.
So the Eternal Fleet overwhelmed both the Republic and the Empire? What was the result?
Both sides are forced to pay a heavy tribute to Zakul, mainly raw materials and resources. They're also held under an arms limitation statute. The Empire and the Republic are both breaking it, of course, but they're still incapable of challenging the throne directly.
Who's in charge of the Republic now?
Suresh reached the end of her term limits recently, but her replacement is a carefully selected puppet. She still runs things, even if she isn't officially the Chancellor anymore.
And the Empire?
Only one member of the Dark Council remained after the chaos. Darth Asina. She now rules as Empress of the Sith. Both sides see this only as an opportunity to eliminate one another at a time of weakness, instead of combining what strength they have. Arkan does nothing to prevent violence between them, so long as their tribute is paid and no one challenges Zakul's superiority.
What does Arkan use the tribute for? Zakul doesn't seem to need much.
A question no one else seems to ask or answer, not in any detail. Zakul's empire spans a sizable portion of wild space, but not enough to consume the resources they're acquiring. I've been working to learn the answer myself. Powerful Zakulan battle stations have been placed in orbit around key worlds to watch for possible uprisings, but there are no ongoing planetary occupations. The ships of the Eternal Fleet simply patrol at random, while the tribute paid to Zakul gradually chokes all economic potential.
What about my team? My ship?
I have allies looking for them as we speak. With all of the chaos of the last few years, though, it will take time to find them all. For now, we make do with ourselves, Koth, and HK.
How did you end up working together with Koth?
I knew I'd never find you alone. Recruiting assets with first-hand knowledge of Zakul was my top priority for years. Koth was on the run, pursued by the deadliest of the Zakul Knights. I resolved the situation, and we've worked together ever since. He's been an invaluable ally. Did he tell you that he was a former officer in the Zakulan Navy?
Yes, he said that he deserted with his crew.
That's right. I've come to trust Koth with my life, just as I trust you. I'm confident that you'll learn to trust one another just as well.
So why me? You clearly went to a lot of trouble to get me out of Carbonite.
Before you were captured, you accomplished things no one else dared to attempt. You changed the galaxy more than once, and if things have ever needed to change, now is the time. But there is something else. I felt it since the moment I found you in Carbonite. There's a power in you. Something new. It's elusive, but I know it's there.
I think you're right, Lana. I think the Emperor, Valkorion, is in my mind.
What?
After he died, there was a storm of energy. I barely even remember being thrown into the carbon freezing chamber. And then, while I was frozen, I saw things. Dreamed about him, about everything that happened while I was gone.
It can't be. If he were controlling you, I'd know it. I certainly saw enough of it on Ziost.
I don't think he's trying to control me, not directly anyway. He was trying to convince me to work with him.
Whatever he's doing, we can be sure that he's always trying to deceive us somehow. I believe in you. And I appreciate your honesty. I'll remain watchful for any influence he might have over you. For the time being, though, we have no choice but to proceed.
What about the others?
They wouldn't understand. And like you said, we really don't know anything for sure yet. Let's keep the matter between us for now.
Request. Please rendezvous at my current coordinates at your earliest convenience, Masters. I require assistance.
Strange. We should hurry.
HK got into trouble. Let's read this quite lengthy State of the Galaxy mission lore update. I've never read it before, so forgive me if I don't do it fluently. With the sudden arrival of the Eternal Empire, the galaxy was turned upside down. The Eternal Fleet struck both the Republic and the Sith Empire at once, first targeting their shipyards, then cutting off supply lines. Within mounts, drone cars and Coruscant were blockaded. Without Darth Marr's leadership, the Dark Council scrambled to fight back against Archane's forces and were ultimately defeated. While most Council members were killed, others disappeared to unknown corners of the galaxy. When dust settled, only Darth Asina remained, and she quickly named herself the new Sith Empress. Even facing this new threat, Supreme Chancellor Saresh couldn't let go of her grudge against the Empire. She tried to wage war against both enemies and failed. Stupid Saresh, that's why everybody hates her. That's not in the lore. Costing millions of Republic lives, obviously. Finally, the Senate overruled Saresh to discuss a peace treaty with Archane. She is no longer officially the Supreme Chancellor, but continues to rule from the shadows. Both sides are forced to pay tribute to Zaku and are technically under a ceasefire, but that doesn't stop them from quietly trying to eliminate each other. As long as tributes are paid on time, Archane allows the fighting to continue. This is a little bit of an expansion compared to what we've witnessed during the cinematic cutscene previously. And one thing I would like to mention, depending on what you tell Lana about the Emperor being in your mind, the rest of the conversation goes very differently. I would urge you either to play it both ways for yourself, or check out my two versions for the Sith Marauder and for the Jedi Sentinel. One thing I would like to add last, before we go and help HK, I would love to have Lana's outfit, except for the shoulder pads maybe. Right, it is time to rush back and see what kind of a trouble this guy is in. Don't know if I can sneak in through this, probably not. Oh, we've left something alive. Have a fun life, Zakulan Wingmo. There he is. Do you see the purple dot to the left side of the map? That's where HK is located. During the next encounter, I died while playing with my Sith Marauder live on stream. So feel free to laugh at my expense. You are able to see what exactly I did, how and why, if you watch the other series. I've already finished my very first playthrough with my Sith Marauder. On purpose, I decided to leave VULKK for second because I wanted to make this series as a walkthrough with a little bit of an advice and a little bit more experienced behind me. So I would know what's happening, how the story plays out, and not be totally surprised.
Take a
There
breath.
are a few moments that would literally take your breath.
Please, save us.
HK, explain.
Protestation. I have done nothing to these pitiable meatbags, Master. They were merely bystanders when I destroyed a group of Sky Troopers. They requested our help in escaping the enemy's notice.
Please, we are no danger to you. We were exiled for protesting Emperor Archon's war. We've already lost 2 of our friends. Please, is there anything you can do for us?
We're repairing a ship with room for passengers. We can get you out of here.
You're serious? That's incredible. Thank you. Thank you so much.
The path ahead of us is not a safe one. They might be better off here.
No one could be better off here.
Yet again, a slightly different outcome depending whether you choose dark side or light side.
Much improved.
The real difference and the real meaning of that choice will be probably revealed to us in the later chapters. Let's go back to the Gravestone, shall we?
I exist to serve.
You're sure we can make it fly again?
She'll fly. Just been waiting for somebody to come along and remind her how.
Let's get to work then.
And finally, after this, which I called during the live stream the most weirdest cinematic moment in the whole game that I've ever witnessed, we're finally ready, eventually, to fly this thing. From the second attempt, everything lit up, everything seems to be working. And thanks to HK, who was the true guardian. While everybody was inside the ship working their ass off, he was defending us from the little and the mother spider. The little spiders and the mother spider. However, you might hear strange weird sounds in the background, so that's exactly what we're going to do. Investigate what are these sounds and who's making them. This is the dark sanctuary of the Gravestone.
I take it you have questions.